Well, it took a while, but let the celebration begin here at UMBC. The Retrievers over the Hartford Hawks in double overtime. 90-85 was the final. UMBC had a 26-point lead in the second half in this game with about 15 minutes to go. But the Hawks, what a comeback it was for them. But UMBC holds on and gets the win.
You know, our colleague Paul Mittermeier tweeted after UMBC came from 18 down to beat New Hampshire in the regular season finale that he'd never seen a wilder game. If that was the wildest game Paul had ever seen, how about tonight? As you said, Hartford's down 26 with 15 minutes left in the game. Nothing's going right for them, and they put on some pressure defensively. They began to double team and trap the ball. The UMBC started missing some jump shots. They were one and done a lot on the offensive end, and Hartford started making shots, got some momentum going, and the next thing you know, we're going to overtime. There's Joe Sherburne right at the start of the game. Didn't hit another three until there was under 2 minutes left in the game. But he hit that one. UMBC got off to a great start, as you can see here. They were up 18-5 early, and they just kept going in the first half. Great defense played by the Retrievers. They were doubling the ball inside. They weren't giving up anything easy. When Hartford did get open three-point looks, they weren't making them. They were 2 for 10 in the first half. Travis Weatherington was the only one who made 2. Here you see great defense by Lamar getting back on what looked like a fast break. Then in the second half, it turned around very quickly. Hartford was down 50-26, and their Dunn makes a 3, who hadn't made anything early, to cut it to 1. Now it's a 1-point lead for UMBC, and Joe Sherburne seems to clinch the game with 41 seconds left, but Hartford wasn't done. They come back. 3-point play gives them the lead. And here's a turnover. Now we're in overtime. And here's the lead for Hartford. And it went back and forth through the 2 overtimes.
A lot of these highlights late were J.R. Lynch for Hartford. He ended up fouling out.
And Idle Rock for UMBC. And K.J. Jackson missed a couple inside, but Horvath was there for a tip-in earlier. Sherburne got a tip-in, and here's the key block up to 31 seconds to go. Mitchell, the freshman, takes the shot. No one who was not a senior scored for Hartford tonight. Their 5 starting seniors scored all 85 of their points. They all played more than 40 minutes. 4 Retrievers played more than 40 minutes.
And so this sets up the rematch, John. Number 1 Vermont, number 3 UMBC. And this rivalry has turned around completely. There was a time when Vermont could not lose to UMBC. They beat them 23 straight times, but this shot here seemed to turn the tables.
And that was the shot heard round the world, as it turned out the entire basketball world, because Jarris Lyle's 3 led to the upset of Virginia. And this is from this year. UMBC went up, was down 12-2 at the start of this game in Vermont, came back, tied it at halftime, then started out with a 14-point run. Goes on to win. Then when Vermont came down here, UMBC really controlled the entire game. They led double digits most of the way, played great defense, was clearly the better team. Hartford has lost 2 games this season in the conference, both to UMBC. Last year they lost 2 games in the conference, 1 to Hartford and to UMBC in the championship game. So they desperately want revenge. And I don't use the word revenge much, because I hate it when I see a headline that a regular season game somehow avenges a loss in postseason. This wouldn't avenge the loss last year, because UMBC still won that game and that championship, but it would certainly make the Vermont people feel a lot better if they could not only get back to the NCAAs, but do it by beating UMBC. UMBC, on the other hand, should have a lot of confidence going in there, having beaten Vermont twice already this season.
That's the run-up to the game. The Retrievers have beaten them 3 in a row. It'll be this Saturday on ESPN2 at 11 a.m. Number 1 Vermont hosts number 3 UMBC.